Midnight in the mission church, Lucille across my knee. I told the mountain all my sins. The mountain set them free. I've lied and cheated, loved and lost. The mountain counted every cost. Lucille's midnight confession. Two voices in the dark. One sings the blues of the sinner, one holds the mountain spark. The mountain asked me, what's the worst thing you ever done? I played a note so dark and low. The mountain said, well done. Not for the sin, for the truth you told. My Lucille strings turned to gold. Confesses, the mountain hears. Two old souls without any fears. Good. The mountain holds my secrets in the way a mountain should. Lucille confessed. The mountain kept. Two old kings who never wept. Last time Lucille spoke to me was on a Tuesday night. She said, "You've carried me for 50 years. Now let me hold the light."
I never heard my guitar speak before. The mountain opened up a door.
The guitar spoke to the king alone. The mountain built a throne. I asked Lucille, "What do you want?" She said, "To be at rest."
The mountain has a place for me, where every note is blessed. Lucille spoke.
The mountain heard.
Two old friends
Without a word. Silence that she'll bring.
Lucille spoke.
The mountain heard.
Two old kings,
The final word. The highway that leads to the mountain is paved with broken streams. I drove it in a Cadillac with Lucille and other things.
I've driven roads from Maine to Mexico. the slowest though.
The highway ends where I begin. The stone has always known. I stopped at every roadside bar and played for beer and gas.
The mountain listened from afar
And let the miles pass.
The highway ends, the stone begins.
Two old men forgive their sins. The highway that leads to the mountain has no more road to give.
I'm parked at the eternal gate,
Where the mountain
lets me live. The highway ends,
the mountain starts.
two old kings give their hearts.
The wind of the Mississippi froze. Lucille and I were there. The ice was thick as my mother's love. The mountain had no care.
Played a note to warm the river. The mountain gave me a silver sliver.
The winter cold could not survive. The mountain kept me alive. The ice cracked under my guitar. A sound I'll never forget.
The river started moving slow.
river froze, the mountain burned. Two old friends, the lesson learned. The Mississippi froze, is a story I still tell.
The mountain keeps the ice somewhere in a frozen mountain cell.
The river froze, the mountains stayed. Two old kings, the debt is paid. The graveyard of forgotten notes, is where I went last night. Every note I never played was buried there in white.
I walk between the headstones cold. The mountain watched me grow old.
The graveyard has a keeper, and I have always known. I found a note I left for dead in 1963. It asked me why I let it go. The mountain set it free.
Forgotten notes, the mountain's ground. Two old friends Forgotten notes are found in stone. Two old kings are not alone.
Mountain said goodbye today to the lost tapes in the mail. The Sultan's notes are in the stone. The mountain understands. The reels have turned to dust inside. The granite keeps the sound. The mountain said goodbye today. The most beautiful ground. Lost tape tribute, the mountains goodbye. The guitar bends one final time. The organ learns to fly. The conga taps a soft goodnight. The bass walks to the door. Lost tape tribute. The mountain wants no more. I stood upon the ridge at dawn. The mountain spoke my name. It said the lost tapes are asleep. The Sultan did the same. The wind was playing all his bands. The pine trees were his crowd. The mountain said goodbye today, and I wept out loud. Lost tape tribute. The mountain's goodbye is done. The lost tapes rest in granite peace. The Sultan is the sun. I walk back down the mountain now. The guitar on my back. Lost tape tribute. The mountain's heart is black. tape tribute. The mountain is the grave and the resurrection all at once. The silence and the song. Lost tape tribute. The mountain plays alone.
I've broken 100 strings, the high E, the G, the A. They snap in the middle of a solo, in the middle of a heartbreak day. But there's one string on this guitar that has never let me down. The second string, the B, it's been with me in every town. The guitar string that never broke, my worst, bent to the breaking point, but it never learned to burst. The vibrato is my trembling hand, the minor bend my knee. The mountain spirit listens to the string that set me free. She said it sounds like my soul, thin and tight and true. Then she left and took the sun, but the B string stayed. What could I do? I bit it till my fingers bled. 1,000 lonely nights, that string just kept on singing. never broke. I'll play until my fingers fall. The B string will remain. Every bend of prayer I never said, every note a little rain, the guitar string that never broke. The song is never done. The mountain spirit holds it now. Long after I'm gone. Summer night was warm. The guitar bed, a note so sweet, it calmed the coming storm. The hills were listening with us. The stars came out to play. The most beautiful day. Live at the Greek, 1985. The guitar band through time. The organ swelled like the ocean breeze. The conga found its rhyme. The Sultan of the Latin rock gave us everything. Live at the Greek, 1985. The angels learned to sing. He played a solo for an hour, or maybe it was more. Time stopped inside that amphitheater. The mountain heard the roar. We danced like no one was watching. We cried like no one saw. Live at the Greek, 1985. The most beautiful left me right there. The Fillmore flashback. The guitar bends so fast. The organ holds the memory. The conga makes it last. He played until the morning. The sun came through the glass. The Fillmore flashback. The greatest night I'll never pass. The lights were never dim. And the music taught me so. Face the mountain. The session played all night. The guitar bent a silver note. The mountain caught the light. The Sultan stared into the glass, saw his own face in the stone. The mountain stared right back at him, and he was not alone. The window faced the mountain. The guitar bent to see. The organ was the echo. The conga set it free. The mountain watched the whole damn thing. The bends, the cries, the sweat. The window faced the mountain, and the mountain never forgets. the truth came unbound. Face the mountain. The studio is gone, but the mountain still looks in sometimes and hums that same old song. The window is a memory now. The glass is in the air. The window faced the mountain, and the mountain is still there. The engineer cried at midnight when the Sultan played the blues. A minor bend so deep and long, it loosened all his screws. He put his headphones on the board and walked into the hall. The Sultan kept on playing. The mountain heard it all. The engineer cried at midnight. The guitar bent his tears. The organ held his shaking hands. The conga killed his fears. The mountain watched through the control glass and nodded at the pain. The engineer cried at midnight and never played again. He told me years later about that night. Said I heard my father's voice. The Sultan's guitar was a medium then. It gave him no other choice.
rest here somewhere in a cavern by the east. The engineer cried at midnight, and the crying never ceased.
Hotel room at 2 a.m. The Sultan played to the walls. The crowd was hours behind him now. Silence had no cause. He played a song for his children, a lullaby in minor key. Hotel room at 2 a.m. The mountain heard him plead. The hotel room at 2 a.m. The guitar bent so low, the organ held the loneliness, the conga moved slow. He wasn't playing for the fame or the lights or the roar. The hotel room at 2 a.m. He was playing for the floor. Still unmade. The Sultan played a prayer for home, the most beautiful trade. He traded noise for silence. He traded crowd for one. The hotel room at 2 a.m. The tour was almost done. and no one else is there. The Sultan's old guitar, he never fixed it, never hit it. Said that's my favorite scar. The ash fell during a solo in the lost session of 72. The cigarette burn on the neck, the mountain felt it too. The cigarette burn, the guitar bends through pain. The organ is the ember, the conga brings the rain. The mountain has a burn mark too, from lightning and from time. The cigarette burn on the neck is the most beautiful crime. Held that guitar in my hands at an auction in the fall. The burn was rough against my thumb. The mountain heard my call. Is where the spirits are. Before the fall, I close my eyes and feel that burn under my session with no name happened in between the night and the morning, the seen and the unseen. The Sultan showed up with no guitar. The studio had one waiting. The strings were old, the wood was cold. The mountain started hating. The session with no name, the guitar bent to no one. The organ played a question mark. The conga weighed a ton. The mountain wrote no notes that night. No tape was in the machine. The session with no name was the most beautiful scene. The engineer pressed record anyway. The red light stayed off. The music came from somewhere else. The mountain took a cough. They played for 4 imaginary hours on instruments of air. The session with no name left footprints everywhere. The blues of the Spanish stone came to me last night. I played it on my Lucille. The mountains saw the light.
I've sung the blues in Memphis town.
The Spanish stone turned me around. The blues of the Spanish stone. Two voices in the rock.
One sings the blues of the Mississippi.
One holds the Latin lock. The stone had been there for 1,000 years before I ever played.
It knew a band that I had never heard. The mountain was not afraid.
My Lucille cried a Delta tear.